Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here by the Southern District of New York Courthouse and also the closed down MCC jail. We're still covering, believe it or not, the Carroll versus Trump trial. Why? Because despite the verdict on Friday, or in response to the verdict on Friday, yesterday, Monday, January 29th, Trump's lawyer, Habba, around 5 p.m., filed a letter with Judge Kaplan saying they just learned that, according to the letter, Louis Kaplan and Robbie Kaplan, the lawyer for Carroll, had both been at the Paul Weiss law firm together, and that somehow that Judge Kaplan had been the mentor of Robbie Kaplan, and that they want more information on that so they can file a Rule 29 motion or possibly an appeal to the Second Circuit, for which they might have to post bond. Now, some people were very dismissive of the filing, saying I think it does have very little chance with Judge Kaplan. These things are raised in letters, and so we reported it, and you can find it there. Now, today, in somewhat related or parallel news, Aimee Harris, who pled guilty to taking Ashley Biden's diary from a rental and then crossing state lines to sell it, was supposed to be sentenced today. In fact, some have reported that she will be sentenced today. You heard it here first, or you saw it on Inner City Press yesterday in writing. She's not going to be present today. She's being allowed to be present by video, Microsoft Teams, in order to ask for an adjournment. I think it's impossible to sentence her without her being present, although maybe they can if she's been kind of hard to reach. They assigned a second CJA lawyer who wrote into the judge that she tried to reach her in December and spoken to her, but that she didn't have time and has been unable to reach her since. So we're going to cover that at noon. I don't expect the sentencing, but maybe there's going to be some admonition to come on down, so to speak. Yesterday we did cover the hearing into the proposed George Floyd protest settlement, which includes various procedures for NYPD, whose truck I'm right next to here. Let's talk about NYPD. Now, there was a guy from the PBA, the Patrolman Benevolence Association, saying that it's too rigid, it puts officers at risk. And they brought up what is true, a kind of a contradictory position of Eric Adams, where he said he's concerned about the settlement, but of course he's the mayor, he's the one settling, and he could blow up the settlement today if he wants to, because the judge hasn't ruled. Now, his veto of the city council policing proposals will be overridden today, but he knew that would happen. You see, he doesn't control city council legislation, but he does control settlements by the city. So, where does he stand? I'm not sure. In other news, Sarah Lawrence College has moved to dismiss the Larry Ray victims' lawsuit against it, saying that it's outside of the statute of limitations and that the Adult Survivors Act that Jean Carroll used is not available to them. We'll see. We reported that as well. Finally, of course, we have to. This sinkhole that is the United Nations. Now today, Guterres is going to try to smooth over the fact that UNRWA staff took part in the October 7th massacre. But there's a whole separate scandal, which is bribes in Iraq, UNDP staff members demanding bribes, just like oil for food. See, back in the day, in oil for food, this gave rise to serious oversight of the UN. And yet, today's UN is so debased that the scandal in Iraq, well documented by The Guardian, is just like yawn, because under Guterres, the UN has descended into actually taking part in murders. Okay, there you have it, Inner City Press. We've applied to get back in to ask these questions, which others didn't. No one has even asked in this noon briefing about the UNDP bribes. No answer. Ian Phillips, the famous wire service reporter they hired, no answer. Stefan Dujarric, the spokesman, no answer. Melissa Fleming, no answer. But we will not rest. Inner City Press.